In the complex landscape of modern relationships, there exists a painful reality that many men face, but few openly discuss. When a woman is taking advantage of your kindness, generosity, and emotional availability, she will rarely announce her intentions directly. You won't hear her say, "Thank you for being my emotional support system whenever I need validation," or "I appreciate you functioning as my personal transportation service," or "Thanks for being my financial safety net." The truth is never that transparent or straightforward. Instead, what you'll encounter is something far more subtle and difficult to detect, a carefully constructed series of statements that sound appealing, flattering, and sometimes even deeply romantic. These phrases are specifically crafted to maintain your interest, to keep you emotionally invested and available, while simultaneously extracting your valuable time, draining your emotional energy, depleting your financial resources, and consuming your undivided attention. This comprehensive guide isn't designed to criticize or attack women who genuinely care about their partners. Rather, it serves a protective purpose, to educate and empower men who deserve authentic connections built on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine affection. If you're someone who places a high value on being treated with dignity and seeks meaningful relationships based on truth rather than manipulation, then understanding these patterns becomes essential to protecting your well-being and investing your energy wisely. Line number 9. I'm not ready for a relationship right now. The real meaning, she's not interested in a relationship with you specifically. This particular statement functions as a gentle rejection, even in situations where you haven't officially established any kind of romantic partnership yet. It's a polite way of creating distance while maintaining plausible deniability. The confusing part? She'll continue sending you text messages, she'll still agree to spend time with you occasionally, and she'll certainly still accept when you offer to help her with various tasks and favors. However, whenever the conversation shifts toward defining the relationship, establishing exclusivity, or discussing any form of commitment, she'll immediately pull out this convenient, "I'm not ready" explanation as her escape route. Real-world example. Picture this scenario. You've been spending quality time together for several weeks or even months. When you finally gather the courage to bring up the topic of dating exclusively or simply establishing what you mean to each other, she responds with this classic line about not being ready for anything serious. You respect her stated boundaries and give her the space she claims to need. Then just 4 to 5 weeks later, you notice through social media or mutual friends that she's suddenly in a committed relationship with someone else. What changed so dramatically in such short time? The uncomfortable truth is that she was simply buying herself time, keeping you as an option while waiting to see if the person she genuinely wanted would reciprocate her interest. The critical insight. When a woman tells you she's not ready for a relationship, she's actually being partially honest with you. The piece of information she's deliberately omitting is that she'll suddenly become completely ready the exact moment that a man she truly desires expresses interest in her. Her readiness isn't about timing or personal growth. It's about who's asking. How to identify if it's genuine? The statement might actually be truthful if she creates real distance rather than keeping you emotionally tethered. This means no more flirtatious messaging, no casual hangouts that feel like dates, and no emotional check-ins where she treats you like her confidant. When a woman is being honest about needing time for herself, she establishes firm boundaries and actually respects your needs to move forward with your life. She doesn't continue leaning on you for validation, attention, or emotional support while claiming she's unavailable for a relationship.
Line number 8. You just get me. The real meaning? You're serving as her emotional support without romantic consideration. She delivers this line right before launching into detailed explanations of her various problems, whether that's unresolved issues with her ex-partner, traumatic experiences from her past, workplace stress and conflicts, or general life frustrations. After using you as her emotional outlet, she thanks you profusely for being such an amazing listener, or perhaps even such a wonderful friend. That last word should make your stomach drop if you were hoping for something more. Real-world example. She sends you lengthy text messages, sometimes entire paragraphs, explaining how nobody else in her life truly understands what she's going through. She emphasizes how safe and comfortable she feels when talking to you, and repeatedly tells you how different you are from other men she knows. However, despite all this emotional intimacy, She never reciprocates your attempts at flirtation. She doesn't take the initiative to plan activities together as a couple would. Physical affection and romantic gestures are completely absent from her behavior toward you. The harsh reality you need to face is that you're not the man she finds romantically or sexually attractive. You're functioning as her unpaid therapist, providing emotional labor without any romantic reciprocation. The critical insight. When she says you understand her better than anyone else, what she's really communicating is that you provide her with attention, validation, and emotional comfort without expecting or receiving anything romantic in return. You're giving her all the emotional benefits of a relationship without any of the commitment or romantic investment from her side. Testing your own situation. If you believe you're comfortable being just friends with this woman, ask yourself this revealing question. Would you enthusiastically set her up with your best friend? If your immediate reaction is absolutely not, then you need to be honest with yourself. You're not actually friends with her. You're investing your time and emotional energy while secretly hoping she'll eventually change her mind about seeing you romantically. You're wasting precious time that could be spent finding someone who wants you in the way you want to be wanted. How to identify if it's genuine. The connection might be authentic if she demonstrates the same level of emotional vulnerability and openness while simultaneously initiating physical affection, planning romantic dates, giving you genuine compliments, and putting effort into building something romantic with you. A woman who truly values you as a romantic partner doesn't just unload her problems on you. She also asks meaningful questions about your day, your challenges, your dreams, and your feelings. Line number 7. You deserve someone more amazing than me. The real meaning? She's rejecting you while disguising it as a compliment. This statement is masterfully constructed to sound like flattery and self-deprecation simultaneously. She tells you what a wonderful person you are, describes you as perfect partner material, and insists that any woman would be incredibly fortunate to be with you. But here's what you need to notice. Despite all these glowing compliments, she never actually chooses you for herself. She keeps you in orbit around her life, keeps you feeling flattered and hopeful about future possibilities, while actively searching for someone else. This manipulation can even occur within an existing relationship when she's preparing to end things. Real-world example. You've demonstrated consistent loyalty, generosity, and emotional support. She acknowledges and thanks you for being such an incredible guy, but then immediately explains that she's not in the right headspace or not emotionally ready for a relationship currently, and therefore you deserve to be with someone who can give you what you need. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she's already cultivating connections with potential new partners. She's essentially telling you that you're wonderful, just not wonderful enough for her. The critical insight. When a woman tells you that you deserve someone better than her, you should take her words at face value and believe her. She's communicating clearly that she doesn't want to be that special someone in your life. Stop trying to convince her otherwise or prove your worth. She's already made her decision. How to identify if it's genuine. This statement might reflect genuine feelings if she's authentically struggling with guilt, low self-worth, or personal issues, and she creates complete distance rather than keeping you on the hook. This means no late-night text messages, no breadcrumbing behavior where she occasionally drops hints to keep you interested, or emotional check-ins where she treats you like her personal support system. When the separation is respectful and complete, with no mixed signals or "I miss you" bait designed to test if you're still available, then her words might actually reflect honest self-awareness rather than manipulation.
Line number 6. I just need space, but I don't want to lose you. The real meaning. She wants you available as a backup option without commitment. This represents one of the most manipulative statements on this list because she claims to need space or time to figure things out, yet somehow she still sends text messages when she's bored or needs something from you. She still expects you to respond promptly when she reaches out. She still wants access to the benefits of your attention, resources, and emotional availability without offering the commitment of her consistent presence or relationship investment. Real-world example.
You respect her request and give her the space she asked for. Stepping back from frequent communication and contact. A week or two passes during which her social media posts contained hints and suggestions about spending time with other men or going on dates. Then suddenly, your phone explodes with messages saying, "I miss you," or "I've been thinking about you." But before you get excited, understand this. She's not reaching out because she's had a genuine change of heart or realized your value. She's contacting you because her primary options, the men she was really interested in, have rejected her or aren't giving her the attention she wants. You're her backup plan, her safety net, her plan B. This isn't love or genuine affection. This is being used and kept as an option. The critical insight. If she truly valued you and recognized your worth, she wouldn't risk losing you by playing these games. Women who genuinely care about their partners don't create unnecessary distance and uncertainty. How to identify if it's genuine? Her request might be legitimate if she communicates with clarity and specificity, establishes a reasonable timeline for the space she needs, and actually follows through by reaching back out when she said she would. For instance, if she says, "I need 1 week to deal with some personal issues," and then calls you exactly 7 days later to reconnect properly, that demonstrates respect and genuine intention. Clear communication and follow-through are the markers of honesty. Line number 5. I don't usually do this. The real meaning. She uses this line regularly with different men. This phrase is specifically designed to make you feel special, chosen, and unique among all the men she's encountered. The uncomfortable reality is that if she's saying this to you, she's almost certainly said it before to others, and she'll say it again to future men. It's a rehearsed line that's part of her standard approach. Real-world example. After you've paid for an expensive dinner on a first date, she allows you to kiss her while saying, "I don't usually do this on first dates." Or perhaps she asks you to borrow money from you and quickly follows up with, "I've never asked anyone for financial help before, but I'm such a difficult situation right now." In that moment, you feel like you're the exception to her usual rules, which makes you feel valued and special. This feeling of being unique makes you vulnerable to manipulation. However, the truth is that she's delivered the same performance with the same sales pitch to the previous man who paid for her time and attention. The critical insight. If she genuinely doesn't usually do something with men she's dating, the gesture or action will be accompanied by authentic signs of nervousness, shyness, hesitation, or embarrassment. It won't come off as a smooth, confident sales pitch or rehearsed performance. Genuine inexperience or boundary crossing shows in body language and emotional responses. How to identify if it's genuine? The statement might be truthful if her subsequent behavior matches how a genuinely nervous or shy woman would naturally act in that situation. She displays real vulnerability or hesitation rather than practiced confidence. For example, if she allows you to kiss her after dinner and then genuinely laughs, blushes, or seems authentically awkward about it, those are signs of sincerity. She's not being overly flirtatious, not immediately dropping hints about what else she wants from you. She's not performing for an audience. She's simply being her authentic, slightly uncomfortable self in an unfamiliar moment. Critical warning. Never trust a woman you're not married to who asks you for money. This is a fundamental boundary that protects you from being exploited financially.
Line number 4. I don't care about money. The real meaning. She loves money, especially when it's your money. She makes this declaration while you're in the process of paying the bill at a restaurant, sliding your credit card across the table. "I'm not the type of woman who focuses on money or material things," she insists. Meanwhile, observe her behavior. She becomes noticeably more excited and animated when you take her to 5-star restaurants with rooftop views and premium cocktails, but mysteriously has no energy or enthusiasm for simple, cost-free activities like taking a walk through the park or having a picnic. Real-world example. She repeatedly insists that she's easygoing and low maintenance when it comes to dates and activities. However, you start noticing that her favorite places to spend time all revolve around your credit card and financial resources. Fancy dinners at trendy restaurants, spontaneous weekend trips to expensive destinations, designer shopping experiences, all funded entirely by you. When you suggest doing something low-key, budget-friendly, or free, suddenly she's too busy with work, too tired from her week, or dealing with other commitments. The critical insight. Always believe her actions rather than her words. If her entire lifestyle and the activity she enjoys with you depend on your wallet and financial contributions, she cares about money significantly more than she's willing to admit verbally. How to identify if it's genuine? The statement might be true if she occasionally offers to split the check or pay for certain dates herself, suggests low-cost or free activities that she genuinely seems excited about, or surprises you with small gestures that show thoughtfulness rather than financial expectation. For example, she shows up unexpectedly with your favorite coffee drink that cost $5 instead of constantly planning another expensive experience that she expects you to finance. A woman who truly doesn't prioritize money the way some women do demonstrates this through her actions and even contributes financially to the relationship, even if those contributions are modest. Line number 3. You're different from other guys. The real meaning? She's flattering you to encourage you to chase her harder. This statement feels absolutely amazing the first time you hear it. She looks directly into your eyes with what seems like genuine admiration and says, "You're not like other men I've dated." You feel special, chosen, and valued. You feel like you've won some kind of competition. You believe you've been selected above all others. However, here's the harsh truth you need to understand. She has delivered this exact same line, with the same tone and the same eye contact to other men before you. It's her proven script, her reliable method for getting what she wants from men. Real-world example. You believe her words completely and feel special because of them. However, when you start paying attention to her actions rather than her words, you notice concerning patterns. She frequently cancels or reschedules dates at the last minute. She disappears for days at a time without explanation, essentially ghosting you temporarily. She only seems available and interested when it's convenient for her schedule or when she needs something from you. If you were truly different and truly special to her, she wouldn't need to verbally tell you. She would demonstrate it consistently through her actions, priorities, and the way she treats you. The critical insight. Compliments that aren't backed up by consistent, respectful behavior aren't expressions of genuine admiration. They're tools of manipulation. Words are cheap and easy. Actions require actual investment and effort. How to identify if it's genuine? The statement might be sincere if she mirrors the respect you show her, initiates contact with you as frequently as you reached out to her, and actively invest in your goals, dreams, and personal mission, not just in getting your attention when she wants it. For example, she sends you encouraging text messages when you're working hard on an important project, not just attention-seeking selfies when you're on a deadline and can't give her your focus.
Line number 2. We don't need labels. The real meaning, she wants boyfriend benefits without boyfriend commitment. This is the preferred line for women who want all the advantages of a committed relationship without accepting any of the responsibilities that come with commitment. She'll allow you to take her out on dates and spend money on her. She'll introduce you to her friends and bring you to social gatherings. She might even leave personal items such as a toothbrush at your place to create the illusion of a relationship progression. However, the moment you ask the reasonable question, "So what are we to each other?" she smiles sweetly and responds with something like, "Why would we want to ruin what we have by putting labels on it?" Real-world example. You stop dating or talking to other women because you've decided in your mind that she's the one you want to be with. You've emotionally committed yourself to her exclusively. Meanwhile, she continues to talk to other men, keeps her dating applications profiles active and checks them regularly, and maintains multiple options open for herself. You've committed yourself exclusively to her, but she has not reciprocated that exclusivity toward you. You're faithful to her, she's keeping her options open. The critical insight: if you've invested a substantial and respectable amount of time together, several months of consistent dating, and she still refuses to define the relationship or commit to a label, she doesn't want commitment, at least not with you. She's enjoying the benefits you provide without offering you the security and respect of an acknowledged partnership. How to identify if it's genuine? Her reluctance about labels might be understandable if she's not dating or talking to other men romantically, if she deletes her dating applications from her phone, and if she treats you with the respect and priority that she would give to a committed partner. For example, she posts photos of you together on her social media accounts, not just on private stories where she controls exactly who sees them. She publicly acknowledges your importance in her life rather than keeping you hidden or ambiguous. Line number 1. I'm over my ex. The real meaning: she's still occupying space in her life. This statement should immediately activate your internal warning system. She swears she's completely healed from her previous relationship. She claims she's ready and available for something new and genuine with you. She might even insist convincingly that she hasn't thought about him in many months or even years. But then her phone lights up with a notification, and you notice who's still sending her text messages and who she's still responding to. Real-world example: she cries on your shoulder about how terrible he was to her and how much he hurt her. You naturally step into the role of rescuer, the understanding listener, the good man who treats her properly. But the next week, what happens? She's posting vague, cryptic quotes on social media about heartbreak, missing someone, or complicated feelings, and they sound suspiciously like they're directed at him, not about healing or moving forward. If her ex is still saved in her phone contacts, still occupying mental and emotional space in her thoughts and heart, there's a strong possibility she still wants him physically and romantically. You're not part of her plans. You're serving as her rebound, her temporary emotional band-aid.
The critical insight: if she talks about him, thinks about him, or references him more than she actively invests time and emotional energy in building something real with you, she hasn't moved past that relationship. You're filling an emotional void and providing temporary comfort, but you're not building a genuine, lasting connection with her. How to identify if it's genuine? The statement might actually be true if she never brings up her ex in conversations, doesn't stalk or monitor his social media profiles, and her mood and emotional state don't fluctuate based on whether his name comes up or she hears information about him. For example, you might ask her about her past relationship, and she responds with a simple shrug and says something like, "Everyone makes mistakes in their 20s," or "That's just part of learning what I don't want." She's moved on mentally, emotionally, and practically. Conclusion: recognizing patterns of manipulation. These statements aren't random phrases or innocent miscommunications. They represent clear patterns of manipulative behavior. I'm over my ex. We don't need labels. You're different. I don't care about money. I don't usually do this. I just need space. You deserve better. You get me. And I'm not ready. Each one functions as carefully crafted bait, specifically designed to keep you orbiting around her life while she extracts whatever she wants from you. A woman who truly values you, respects you, and sees a genuine future with you won't rely on excuses or manipulative phrases. She will invest her time and energy in the relationship. She'll commit when appropriate. She'll show up consistently. She'll demonstrate through her actions that you're a priority in her life. On the other hand, a woman who is using you will continue feeding you these sweet-sounding lies while systematically draining your time, depleting your emotional energy, and exhausting your resources. If these patterns sound uncomfortably familiar to your current situation, you might be presenting yourself as someone who's easy to manipulate or take advantage of. Men who are overly accommodating, who always put others' needs first, who avoid conflict at all costs, and who seek approval and validation from women often find themselves trapped in these dynamics repeatedly. Understanding these patterns is your first step toward demanding and receiving the respect and genuine connection you deserve.